How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy. This quote is a profound reminder of the immense power of self-reflection and the importance of prioritizing our own growth over the distractions of external comparisons. In the modern world, it is all too easy to be caught in the endless cycle of observing and evaluating others. We find ourselves constantly checking what others say, what they do, or even what they think, often allowing their opinions to influence our own sense of worth and purpose. Yet this focus on others not only robs us of valuable time, but also detracts from the energy we could dedicate to making our own actions meaningful, virtuous, and aligned with our core values. When we divert our attention to what others are doing, we invite unnecessary feelings of envy, judgment, and inadequacy into our lives. The constant comparison to the lives and achievements of others, especially in an era of social media, can leave us feeling unfulfilled, as if we are perpetually falling short. However, the wisdom in this quote encourages us to shift our perspective. Rather than spending precious time fixating on others, we should look inward, turning our gaze to our own actions. Are we living in accordance with our principles? Are our choices guided by justice and compassion? These are the questions that truly matter. By dedicating ourselves to these reflections, we gain clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection with our authentic selves. Ethan, a young entrepreneur, found himself in a similar dilemma. As the founder of a small startup, Ethan was passionate about creating a product he believed would genuinely help people. However, he often found himself scrolling through social media, comparing his progress to that of other entrepreneurs. He would see posts celebrating multi-million-dollar funding rounds, glamorous product launches, and media features that seemed to dwarf his own modest achievements. And here we go. Ethan has always lived for that modest progress. Each post filled him with doubt and anxiety, making him question whether he was doing enough or if his efforts would ever amount to success. One evening, after a particularly discouraging day, Ethan reached out to his mentor, Lisa. Sharing his frustrations, he confessed that he felt trapped in a cycle of comparison and self-doubt. Lisa listened patiently before sharing the quote, "How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself, to make it just and holy." And Lisa, then she asked him, "Ethan, are you spending more time worrying about what others are doing than focusing on your own mission?" Ethan paused. The truth of Lisa's words hit him hard. He realized that he had been expending more energy envying others than refining his own vision. He had been so consumed with external benchmarks that he had lost sight of what mattered most, staying true to his values and the impact he wanted to create. That evening, Ethan decided to make a change. He set boundaries for his social media use, limiting it to specific times and only for professional purposes. He also began a new morning ritual, spending the first hour of each day reflecting on his goals and asking himself, am I building something meaningful? Are my actions aligned with the change I want to create? The transformation was not immediate, but it was profound. Over time, Ethan found that his perspective shifted. He no longer viewed his peers as competitors, but as fellow travelers on their own unique paths. Instead of feeling inadequate when he saw their successes, he began to feel inspired and motivated to continue his own journey. This inward focus also allowed him to refine his work, leading to a breakthrough in his startup's product development. Months later, when Ethan's company reached a significant milestone, he looked back and realized that it had been his decision to focus inward rather than outward that had made all the difference. Ethan's story illustrates a universal truth. Time spent comparing ourselves to others is time wasted. It is time we could instead invest in becoming the best version of ourselves. To truly grow, we must silence the external noise and focus on what we can control, our own actions, our thoughts, and the values that guide our decisions. By doing so, we cultivate a life rooted in authenticity, integrity, and purpose. This principle is not always easy to practice, but it is transformative. In our daily lives, we can begin by setting aside moments for introspection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, were my actions today aligned with my core values? Did I act justly and with integrity? Such questions can help us maintain a clear sense of direction and purpose. It is also helpful to limit activities that spark unnecessary comparisons. Social media, for instance, can often magnify feelings of inadequacy. By consciously reducing our exposure to such triggers, we create space for self-reflection and growth. Another powerful practice is mindfulness. When we are fully present in the moment, we are less likely to be distracted by worries about others' opinions or achievements. Instead, we can focus on the task at hand, bringing our full attention and energy to what truly matters. Mindfulness helps us stay grounded, reminding us that our worth is not determined by how we measure up to others. Ultimately, the wisdom of this quote lies in its call to action. It urges us to reclaim the time and energy we so often squander on external concerns and redirect them toward what truly matters, the pursuit of a life that is just, holy, and deeply meaningful. By turning our gaze inward and focusing on our own actions, we free ourselves from the burdens of comparison and find the clarity and peace that come from living in alignment with our values. As Ethan's journey demonstrates, this inward focus not only enriches our lives, but also empowers us to make a greater impact on the world around us. Let us all strive to live by this principle, creating a life that is not only successful, but also profoundly fulfilling. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. This quote embodies the Stoic principle of embracing life circumstances with grace and wisdom. It serves as a reminder to trust the natural flow of life and to find meaning in the experiences that come our way. Fate often introduces challenges and relationships beyond our control, and while it may be tempting to resist these realities, such resistance usually results in frustration and conflict. So, true peace and harmony come from accepting what life offers and learning to navigate it with an open heart. By embracing this mindset, we allow ourselves to grow, to connect, and to appreciate the hidden beauty in even the most difficult situations. Consider the story of Emily and Daniel, two co-workers with vastly different approaches to life and work. Emily was meticulous, highly organized, and thrived on structure and planning. Daniel, in contrast, was a creative spirit full of energy and ideas, but often chaotic in execution. When their manager assigned them to collaborate on a major project, both were apprehensive. Emily dreaded the unpredictability she associated with Daniel's style, and Daniel felt stifled by Emily's insistence on rigid schedules and rules. Their initial meetings were tense, filled with misunderstandings and clashing perspectives. It seemed that fate had brought them together, only to challenge their patience and tolerance. At one particularly frustrating moment, Emily found herself reflecting on the wisdom of accepting the things to which fate binds us. She decided to shift her focus from frustration to curiosity, choosing to see what she could learn from Daniel's approach, rather than dwelling on their differences. She began to notice the brilliance of his ideas and the passion he brought to their work. His passion in her work, in turn, Daniel started to appreciate how Emily's structure and planning created a foundation for his creativity to flourish. Slowly, their dynamics shifted. They began to communicate more openly, finding ways to blend their strengths rather than allowing their differences to divide them. Over time, their collaboration became not just effective but extraordinary. The project they worked on together exceeded everyone's expectations, earning accolades from their team and clients alike. But more than professional success, Emily and Daniel found something deeper, a genuine friendship rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Their once dreaded partnership became a source of personal and professional growth, teaching them both valuable lessons about flexibility, empathy, and the power of working together despite differences. Despite feeling differences, this story illustrates the profound truth of the quote: acceptance and love can transform even the most challenging relationships into opportunities for connection and growth. Fate often places us in situations that test our patience, adaptability, and capacity for compassion. When we resist these moments, we miss the chance to uncover their hidden lessons and blessings. But when we embrace them with gratitude, we open ourselves to new perspectives and experiences that can enrich our lives in unexpected ways. Life is inherently unpredictable, filled with uncertainties and factors beyond our control. The path to peace lies not in attempting to control every aspect of our lives, but in learning to respond with grace and wisdom. When faced with unexpected challenges, it can be helpful to pause and remind ourselves, I cannot control what happens, but I can control my response. This mindset allows us to approach difficulties with resilience and to focus on the positives, however small they may seem. Gratitude becomes a powerful tool in this process, helping us to see the silver linings in even the most trying circumstances. By identifying one positive aspect of each situation or relationship, we cultivate a mindset of appreciation and openness. Equally important is the practice of nurturing meaningful relationships. Fate often brings people into our lives for reasons we may not immediately understand. Some of these connections may feel effortless and joyful, while others may seem challenging or even unwelcome at first. Yet, every relationship holds the potential to teach us something valuable. By showing appreciation for the people around us, even those we might not have chosen to encounter, we create opportunities for growth, understanding, and deeper connection. Emily and Daniel's story is a testament to the power of acceptance and love in navigating life's unpredictability. It reminds us that the circumstances and relationships shaped by fate are not obstacles to happiness, but pathways to greater understanding and fulfillment. When we approach life with openness and a willingness to embrace what comes our way, we discover that even the most unexpected turns can lead to meaningful and enriching experiences. And while that's true, I added hesitantly, I do believe that even the most unexpected turns can lead to meaningful and enriching experiences. Our life is what our thoughts make it. This simple yet profound statement captures the essence of how our mindset shapes the reality we live in. Thoughts are not just fleeting moments in our minds, they hold incredible power. They influence how we see the world, how we interpret events, and ultimately how we act. Positive and empowering thoughts can transform seemingly insurmountable challenges into opportunities for growth, while negative or self-defeating thoughts can magnify problems, making them appear more daunting than they are. The truth is, we have a choice in how we think, and that choice determines the quality of our life. Consider Emily, a young entrepreneur with big dreams of starting her own business. Her journey, however, was anything but smooth. In her first year, Emily faced a series of setbacks. Her first product launch failed to attract customers, and her second attempt left her in debt. Each failure chipped away at her confidence, and soon, her thoughts were consumed with negativity. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, she would tell herself, but if I'm just wasting my time? These thoughts became a constant refrain in her mind, paralyzing her and preventing her from moving forward. She found herself stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, unable to see a way out. One day, while browsing through a bookstore, Emily stumbled upon a book about mindset. As she read, she came across the idea that our thoughts create our reality. The author explained how reframing negative thoughts into positive, constructive ones could lead to profound changes in life. This concept struck a chord with Emily. She realized that her failures weren't what was holding her back. It was her own belief that she wasn't capable of succeeding. Inspired by this revelation, Emily decided to take control of her thoughts. She began a daily practice of replacing negative self-talk with affirmations. Whenever a thought like "I'll never get this right" crept into her mind, she would counter it with "I'm learning and improving with every step." She started journaling about her small wins each day, no matter how insignificant they seemed. She also created a vision board filled with images and words that represented her goals and dreams. On this board, she placed photos of successful entrepreneurs she admired, motivational quotes, and even a picture of her dream office space. Each morning, she would spend a few minutes visualizing herself achieving her goals. The change wasn't immediate, but it was consistent. Over time, Emily's mindset began to shift. She started viewing setbacks not as failures, but as valuable lessons. When a marketing strategy didn't work, she asked herself, "What can I learn from this?" instead of berating herself for the mistake. This new perspective gave her the resilience to keep going even when things didn't go as planned. Slowly but surely, her business began to grow. Clients started noticing her unique approach, and her hard work paid off. Today, Emily runs a thriving business and often reflects on how changing her thoughts transformed her life. Emily's story is a powerful reminder of the truth behind the quote, "Our life truly is what our thoughts make it." By consciously choosing thoughts that uplift and empower us, we can create a life filled with purpose and joy. It's not about ignoring challenges or pretending that problems don't exist. It's about approaching them with a mindset that seeks solutions and growth. When you face a setback, instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I turn this into an opportunity?" Your mindset defines your reality. If you allow self-doubt and negativity to dominate your thoughts, you may find yourself stuck in a cycle of fear and inaction. But if you choose to nurture positive, solution-focused thoughts, you open the door to possibilities and growth. Simple practices like using affirmations, journaling about daily successes, or visualizing your goals can help keep your mind aligned with positivity. These small shifts in thought patterns can lead to significant changes over time. Let Emily's journey inspire you. Life will always present challenges, but how you think about those challenges will determine the outcome. Remember, the storms you face can either be seen as destructive forces or as the rain that nourishes your growth. The choice is yours. Cultivate thoughts that empower you, and you will create a life that reflects your highest aspirations. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. This profound quote offers an evocative metaphor for how our inner world shapes our outer reality. It implies that our thoughts, much like dye soaking into fabric, gradually seep into and color our very essence. Over time, they shape not only how we perceive the world, but also how we act, how we feel, and ultimately, who we become. Whether these thoughts are positive and uplifting or negative and corrosive determines the overall hue of our soul, bright and vibrant, or dark and subdued. This concept challenges us to reflect deeply on the content of our inner dialogue and the stories we tell ourselves every day. Consider the story of Alex, a young entrepreneur brimming with ambition. From the moment she graduated college, Alex had dreamed of starting her own business. Inspired by tales of innovation and success, she left her stable corporate job to pursue her passion. At first, her excitement fueled her every move, and her days were filled with hopeful energy. However, as time went on, the road became far more challenging than she had anticipated. Investors turned her down repeatedly, competitors overshadowed her fledgling ideas, and criticism from both friends and strangers began to chip away at her confidence. Soon, Alex found herself overwhelmed by self-doubt. Negative thoughts began to dominate her mind. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm destined to fail? These thoughts were subtle at first, creeping in during moments of quiet, but they soon began to saturate her entire outlook. She started to second-guess every decision she made, hesitating where she once felt bold. Her vibrant energy dimmed, and her interactions with others grew cautious and reserved. It was as though her soul had taken on the muted and dark colors of fear, inadequacy, and hopelessness. One day, a mentor noticed Alex's struggle and shared this very quote with her: "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The words struck a chord with Alex. For the first time in months, she realized that her inner world was entirely within her control, even if her external circumstances were not. Her mentor urged her to be intentional about the thoughts she allowed to take root in her mind and encouraged her to adopt practices that could help her cultivate positivity and resilience. Alex decided to take this advice to heart. She began by dedicating a few minutes each morning to gratitude journaling, writing down 3 things she appreciated about her life, no matter how small. At first, it felt like an empty exercise, but over time, she started to notice subtle shifts in her mindset. She also adopted a habit of daily affirmations, repeating phrases like, "I am capable," and "I am worthy of success." And this is something that people do on a regular basis. These affirmations helped to counteract the negativity that had once dominated her thoughts. She replaced hours of scrolling through social media where she had compared herself to others with reading books and listening to podcasts that inspired her and gave her actionable advice. Over the months, Alex's soul began to reflect new colors. Where there was once fear, there was now courage. Where self-doubt had taken root, there was now a quiet confidence. Her interactions with her team grew more genuine, her ideas became bolder, and her resilience in the face of failure strengthened. Alex's business didn't transform overnight, but her approach to life did. By shifting the colors of her thoughts, she reshaped not only her mindset, but also the trajectory of her dreams. So, the thought comes to my mind again. This story illustrates the profound power of our thoughts to influence our lives. What we focus on grows, and the emotions and beliefs we nurture within ourselves inevitably manifest in our actions and relationships. Negativity acts like a stain, dulling the vibrancy of our soul, while positivity acts like a bright dye, illuminating it with hope and possibility. This is not to say that life will always be free of challenges or pain, but rather that we hold the power to decide how we respond to those experiences. We can choose whether we allow our soul to be dyed by fear and anger or by love and strength. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude are invaluable tools for curating the palette of our thoughts. Meditation allows us to observe our thoughts without judgment and let go of those that no longer serve us. Mindfulness helps us remain present and appreciative of the beauty in our everyday lives. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering an abundance mindset. Limiting exposure to toxic influences, whether they come from people, media, or environments, also plays a crucial role in protecting the sanctity of our inner world. So, the soul's hue is ever-changing, constantly adapting to the dominant colors of our thoughts. By being mindful of the mental and emotional content we allow into our lives, we hold the power to transform ourselves from within. Let Alex's journey serve as a reminder that no matter how dark the present may seem, we have the ability to repaint our inner world with brighter, more hopeful colors. Each thought is a brushstroke, and with enough intention and effort, we can create a masterpiece that reflects the best of who we are. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What stands in the way becomes the way. This quote, rooted in the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, carries a timeless truth that resonates deeply with anyone striving to overcome life's challenges. It encapsulates the idea that obstacles are not merely barriers to success, but are in fact opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resourceful. The adversities we face are not there to stop us. Rather, they are the very elements that shape and refine us. Challenges force us to innovate, adapt, and develop the resilience necessary to achieve greatness. They compel us to step outside our comfort zones, to learn and to see things from new perspectives. Far from being setbacks, obstacles are the raw materials from which progress is forged. Consider the story of James, a young entrepreneur with a passion for technology and a dream of building a startup that would revolutionize the way people interact with smart devices. James' journey began with excitement and determination, but he soon encountered an obstacle that threatened to derail everything. After months of preparation, his company's main investor unexpectedly withdrew funding due to market uncertainties, leaving James with a substantial financial gap and no clear path forward. For a brief moment, James felt defeated. His dream, which once seemed so attainable, now felt impossibly far away. He found himself questioning whether he should abandon his vision entirely. But then, in the quiet moments of reflection, James remembered the words he had once read. What stands in the way becomes the way. These words ignited something within him, a realization that this obstacle, as daunting as it seemed, was not the end of his journey, but an integral part of it. Instead of succumbing to despair, he began to view the financial shortfall as an opportunity to rethink his strategy and approach. He asked himself, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? Driven by these questions, James decided to pivot. He gathered his team and together they examined their business model with fresh eyes. They realized that they had been overly reliant on external funding and had overlooked the potential of building sustainable revenue streams. The obstacle forced them to innovate. They began developing a subscription-based product that could generate steady income, and they reached out to local businesses to form smaller, more manageable partnerships. These adjustments not only solved their immediate financial crisis, but also created a more resilient and self-sustaining business structure. Throughout this process, James discovered strengths he didn't know he had. He learned to adapt quickly, to communicate more effectively with his team, and to focus on what truly mattered. He also realized the importance of celebrating small victories along the way. A successful prototype launch, a new partnership agreement, or even positive feedback from early users. Each small step reinforced his belief that the obstacle he had once dreaded was, in fact, a turning point. Months later, James's startup not only survived but flourished. The lessons he learned during that challenging period became the foundation of his company's success. He often reflected on how that moment of crisis had pushed him to grow in ways he never anticipated. What once seemed like an insurmountable impediment became the driving force behind his greatest achievements. James's story is a powerful reminder of the transformative potential hidden within every challenge. It exemplifies the essence of the Stoic principle. Obstacles are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Each difficulty we face carries with it an opportunity for growth, innovation, and self-discovery. When confronted with a challenge, the key is to shift our perspective. Instead of viewing obstacles as reasons to give up, we must see them as invitations to rise to the occasion. By embracing difficulties, we unlock creativity, resilience, and a deeper understanding of our own capabilities. The next time you encounter an obstacle, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge help me grow? Break the problem down into smaller, actionable steps and tackle them one by one. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and use each success to fuel your momentum. Remember, the path to success is rarely smooth, but it is in navigating the rough terrain that we find our strength. The impediment to action truly advances action, for what stands in the way becomes the way. Comprehensive summary and integration. These quotes collectively serve as a compass for navigating life's complexities, offering timeless wisdom for cultivating a purposeful, resilient, and fulfilling existence. They resonate deeply with anyone striving to find balance in a world full of noise, challenges, and opportunities for growth. By reflecting on these lessons, we uncover profound insights that guide us toward a more intentional and meaningful life. The journey of self-growth begins with an inward gaze. In an era dominated by external validation and endless comparisons, these teachings remind us to center our attention on ourselves. Too often, we squander precious time and energy worrying about how others perceive us or trying to measure up to societal expectations. These habits only serve to distract us from the most important task at hand, becoming the best version of ourselves. Instead of chasing fleeting judgments or superficial accolades, we are called to examine our actions and values deeply. Self-reflection and improvement are not merely personal pursuits, they are acts of reclaiming agency over our lives. Each day becomes an opportunity to learn, adapt, and align our actions with our aspirations. Imagine standing before a mirror, not to critique imperfections, but to seek understanding, self-compassion, and the courage to grow. This shift in perspective transforms the mundane into the meaningful, enabling us to transcend external distractions and cultivate a sense of inner confidence that no external validation can shake. Life's unpredictability, while daunting, is also its greatest gift. These quotes encourage us to embrace acceptance and gratitude as guiding principles for navigating uncertainty. The people and experiences that enter our lives, whether welcome or unexpected, are not random. They form a mosaic that shapes our journey in ways we often fail to appreciate in the moment. By accepting what we cannot change and practicing gratitude for what we have, we foster a sense of harmony that radiates inward and outward. Consider the quiet power of pausing at the end of a challenging day to reflect on the simple joys, the warmth of a kind word, the beauty of a fleeting sunset, or the comfort of knowing someone cares. Gratitude transforms even life's hardships into sources of strength, grounding us in the present and opening our eyes to the richness of our experiences. Acceptance, on the other hand, liberates us from the futile struggle to control the uncontrollable. It allows us to make peace with life's imperfections, creating space for joy and resilience to flourish. Central to this journey is the power of thought. Our minds are fertile grounds where our realities take root. These teachings urge us to recognize the profound influence our thoughts wield over our lives. Negative thought patterns can cloud our vision and lead us astray. But positive, empowering beliefs have the opposite effect. They illuminate the path forward and inspire us to take meaningful action. Imagine how a single shift in mindset, choosing hope over despair or courage over fear, can transform the trajectory of your day or even your life. By nurturing thoughts that uplift and inspire, we not only reshape our personal outlook, but also influence the world around us. The energy we carry becomes a beacon, attracting opportunities and connections that enrich our lives. Each thought carefully cultivated becomes a building block for the life we envision, a small but significant step toward fulfillment. Our inner world, the seat of our thoughts, emotions, and dreams, is the foundation of a meaningful life. These quotes remind us to approach it with mindfulness and care, as one would tend to a vibrant garden. Each thought planted with intention becomes a seed of possibility, and each moment of mindfulness a drop of nourishing rain. This inner cultivation is not a passive process. It requires intentionality, patience, and commitment. When we prioritize our inner well-being, we create a reservoir of resilience and joy that radiates outward, coloring every aspect of our existence. This intentional approach to nurturing our inner world not only helps us weather life's storms, but also deepens our connection to the beauty and wonder of the everyday. It allows us to move through life with a sense of purpose and presence that is both grounding and liberating. And perhaps one of the most empowering lessons these quotes offer is the ability to turn obstacles into opportunities. Challenges often appear as immovable barriers, threatening to derail our progress and diminish our spirits. However, these teachings reveal a deeper truth. Adversity is not a roadblock, but an integral part of the path itself. Challenges force us to adapt, innovate, and uncover strengths we didn't know we possessed. Think back to a moment in your life when you faced a seemingly insurmountable challenge. How did it test your limits, push you to grow, and ultimately lead to unexpected breakthroughs? Each obstacle, when embraced with courage and determination, becomes a stepping stone toward our goals. It is through these trials that we learn, evolve, and refine our understanding of what truly matters. Ultimately, these teachings converge on a profound realization. Life is not about what happens to us, but how we respond to it. While we cannot control every circumstance, we can choose our attitude, our actions, and our mindset. This is where our true power lies. By mastering our thoughts, we paint a reality filled with purpose and possibility. By embracing challenges, we uncover strengths that shape us into our best selves. And by focusing inward, we find harmony and fulfillment in the ever-evolving journey of life. Life is a canvas, and we are the artists. Each obstacle becomes a teacher, each thought a brushstroke illuminating the masterpiece of our soul, and each action a deliberate step toward a life of meaning, connection, and joy. As we navigate the complexities of existence, we must ask ourselves, what story will our canvas tell?